Okay, this is problem number 12, page 68. 68. An investment strategy has an expected return of 4% and a standard deviation of 6%. Assume the investment returns are normally distributed. Use the empirical rule to answer the following questions. What is the probability of earning a return greater than 10%? Now you don't they have those expected return formulas and variance and standard deviation. You really don't need any of that for this particular problem because they tell you to use the empirical rule and they tell you what the return and expected return is. Remember, when you talk about expected return, that would be your average return. It even says that in your workbook where they start talking about the expected returns. So just consider that mu in this case. That would be the mean, the expected returns. So let's back up and answer part A. Okay, part A. First it says 4% is the expected return. Expected return means average. That's on page 64 of your workbook. Okay, so 4% is mu, 6% is one standard deviation empirical formula, 68% within plus or minus 1 standard deviation, 95% within of the values within plus or minus 2 standard deviations, and 99.27% within plus or minus 3 standard deviations. So what is the probability of earning return greater than 10%? Well, if mu, we'll go down to the answer here, 10% is 6% or 1 standard deviation. Remember, because 6% is a standard deviation, they tell you that right here, above mu, which is 4%. They tell you the expected return or the average should be 4%. So if you know if mu is 4% and 6% is 1 standard deviation, remember plus or minus 1 standard deviation is 68%. They want to know what's the probability of earning a return greater than 10%. So if 68% in the empirical formula is plus or minus 1 standard deviation, that leaves 32% less left to either side of that 1 standard deviation, but you just want to know greater than. So you only want to know the stuff above 10%. So of that 32%, you take half of that. So the probability is 16%. It's just 1 minus the 68%. Gives you 32%, obviously, and you only want greater than. You don't want greater than 1 standard deviation and less than what's available. That would be 32%. You just want what's above 1 standard deviation, above 10%. Okay? So the answer is 16%. And B, they want to know what's the probability of earning less than negative 8%. Well, again, you know what mu is. Mu is 4%. 1 standard deviation below that would be 4 minus 6%, because a standard deviation is 6%. That gets you to minus 2%. Another standard deviation below that would get you to minus 8%. So they want to know what's the probability of earning a return less than negative 8%. Well, you know negative 8% is 2 standard deviations below the mu, the expected return. So again, 2 standard deviations plus or minus is 95%. That includes above and below 2 standard deviations. You just want below standard deviations. So of the 5% that's left, you only have half of that, which is there's a 2.5% probability of earning a return less than 8%. Okay, so that's problem number 12 on page 68.